after this, you guys are gonna have to bring me back.
Oh,
The fans are gonna love me.
No, they are. Hi there, I'm Sam,
And I'm Kylie.
and this is
Crying in the Walk-In. Okay.
Mary's here today. Ooh.
Hello.
Hi y'all, welcome to Crying in the Walk-In.
Crying in the Walk-In.
Yeah.
We have a special guest today.
Uh-oh. With us today is host extraordinaire, Mary Fisher, also my little sister.
Mary Fisher.
I'm here.
Mary Fisher.
Welcome to the podcast. How was your day, Mary?
Good.
Oh, here, Will. So we
It
can.
was good.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I hung out at home. I cleaned a little.
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
Yeah, now we're here enjoying the Seattle skyline at Kylie's apartment.
Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. But today we're talking about hosting, which is why we invited Mary on to talk about this.
The only person I will trust with restaurant hosting.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find a good host.
Yeah, it's only Mary.
It's just the one. What are you up to currently?
What's your qualifications?
Yeah.
What do you know here?
So I've hosted for like 6 years.
Yeah, because you're a good host.
Yeah, not because I suck at everything else. I'm
Oh,
a good host.
Yeah.
Okay, employee of the quarter.
And then just recently, probably like 2 years, I've been serving.
Oh.
And this last weekend, bar training.
Yay!
So watch out for
Another female bartender
all
coming your
these
way.
strong cocktails coming your way.
Hey. What's your free pour count?
I'm so excited to train you.
Yeah,
I'm
so fun.
pumped.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'll be here for questions, but I don't always have answers. Cool. But we have you here specifically to talk about your hosting experience, because you are the hostess with the mostest.
Mm-hmm.
Best host I've ever worked with, for sure.
Definitely.
I'm gonna cry.
We're fragile.
Feeling a little bit fragile.
But, so, I think
Sorry.
you're good. It's okay. Drink your coffee. So I think the reason I'm excited to talk about hosting is because I think the common misconception with hosting is that you're just like that smile at the door, like let me get you a table.
Hottie patati at the front.
Yeah,
And I
Slip
get
'em a
that
20.
all the time.
you are a hottie patati.
So
but
pretty.
Hottie patati.
Yeah.
That is so pretty.
But we also want to talk about the position itself and why it's much more than a smile.
A beautiful face.
Yeah. There's also something going on up here.
Whoa.
Also, so in my personal and professional opinion, hosting is the hardest job in a restaurant.
It 100%
Nobody wants
is.
to do it. That's
No.
why
And I never did.
crazy people like me
Kylie.
did it for 6 years.
Just recently, Kylie outed themselves for skipping hosting.
Bullshit.
Never
I've done
hosted.
everything else. I can't. I'm too
Ew.
afraid.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
I would fuck something up for sure. And also, I have a resting bitch face pretty bad. So I think if people came in, they'd just be scared of me and they'd just be
Sure.
like, please, like, no.
Yeah,
I don't
because
want to.
everybody's mad at you. Like,
Yeah.
the chefs are mad at you if you seat too much.
Mhm.
The servers are mad at you if you don't seat them enough or it's
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah. I'd catch an attitude for sure.
Yeah.
With some people at the
Yeah, it's
front.
definitely a practice of restraint.
I don't have any of that.
You're like practicing confrontation every day, but with a smile on your face.
Ooh, yeah, I'm bad at that.
Yeah. Okay. So, quick round of questions.
Fire them off.
Rapid fire.
So, what is the ideal situation for seating a guest? Why are we asking them to wait at the front door instead of just like seating themselves or immediately seating them?
Because there's steps to it. You gotta clean the table.
Yeah.
You want people to enjoy their experience. So you want a clean table. You want server to be ready for them,
Mhm.
and in that section, like sometimes we don't have sections open.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But
You're
there's
trying
all
to
these
sit
open
there.
tables.
Yeah,
Why can't I sit there? Because you can't.
yeah. I'm not serving you.
Yeah.
Also, just really quick, can we talk about why the fuck people decide that sitting at the dirty table is always really
I
allowed?
want to do an experiment.
I
on
do
this
too.
because
Ooh.
I've noticed recently,
It's so weird.
like when I'm being lazy, I will be like, go pick a table out. Like, but I specifically say, choose a clean table to sit at,
Yeah.
and I'll be right over with waters and menus. And every single time, kid you not, they pick the one dirty table, and I'm like, it does not matter what it looks like. So like that's why I'm like curious. I want to do experiment because it's like either there's dirty glasses on it, or like maybe everything's cleaned off, but it's just not wiped. So I'm
it's
just
like
like
disheveled looking.
but like, there's clearly like tables with like settings placed nicely. Like, why didn't you choose that table?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Like, why'd you think all the other tables were taken but this one? Like,
yeah.
it's so weird. But
I
I
want
need
to
to
know.
know.
I want to know if it's like a psychological thing. They're like
Mhm.
somebody enjoyed themselves here, and so
Yeah.
I want to too.
These seats
Yeah.
are already warm, so like I choose these.
Somebody was keeping it warm for us.
Yeah.
Well, like, and then I'll go up and I try not to catch attitude, but sometimes you're just like, oh, let me wipe this dirty table off. Like, make them know it was like dirty.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you choose that?
You have to
one?
like
Yeah.
really put overemphasis on the words. Can I? Let me wipe that table for you because
Yeah.
somebody was just sitting there.
And then I just go, oh, I didn't even see like the dirty glasses.
Yeah.
I'm like,
How?
what?
How?
Yeah, that shit blows my mind. And then, so you said a section with a server, but also touching on the back of house and bar. Like, the other objective is to make sure that nobody's life is hell at work.
Yeah,
So,
you're not trying to oversee. There's a thing called menu counts.
Mhm.
I don't do them anymore, but like fancier restaurants,
Mhm.
when like you're firing appetizers, you're firing courses, like the back of the house wants to know how many menus are down.
Yeah.
And like your goal is to not go over 25 menus at a time, like in 15 minutes. So you're usually
Huh.
giving them every 15 minutes or 30 minutes menu counts so they know what's coming up. If you're seating big tables,
Whoa.
This is like a whole nother level. Like, see, educate me
Yeah.
right now. Like,
I would use like if you're seating big tables too, like that's important to be like, hey, I just sat a 10 top.
yeah.
This is why I couldn't do this.
Yeah.
It's a lot to think about.
I can't.
And like at the end of the night, you'll be like, all the reservations are in, and this is how many menus we have. Like, menu counts are important. Like, chef loves that. Best way to get on their best side.
Does
So,
it-
like,
does
usually
it-
it's required if you're doing that, but some places you don't have to do that.
Does it change based on how big the restaurant?
Yeah,
is,
I'd
or-
say like the first place I got trained at, they were like, don't go over 25 menus.
Interesting.
When I was working downtown at Cortina, it's kind of impossible when it's like an office building because everybody's seeing
Sure,
that at
yeah.
noon.
Yeah.
But I would do menu counts there too.
I feel like it also depends on how big the kitchen size is.
Yeah.
Like, I've worked at restaurants where even though the restaurant wasn't necessarily that small, we only had 3 people in the kitchen. And so seating more than like 5 tables at a time
Yeah.
was a problem.
And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I lied on those menu counts because I know I oversat. Like
You
they
said
don't-
24.
and they don't need to know.
And then you run up to the server and you're like, delay taking their food order because otherwise the kitchen is
Yeah.
going to be behind.
This is on me.
Yeah, let's fix this. But yeah, no, it sounds like a total balancing act between like pleasing the guest and guest perception, because that's something I've learned too. Like, if you ask somebody to wait at the front door for just like 2 minutes instead of seating them immediately, that like extra 2 minutes gives the server, 45 extra seconds to greet them without them feeling snubbed.
Yeah. Or like getting somebody else's like order in before. Like
yeah, seating another table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, so moving forward, when somebody comes to the front door, how do you be a good host? Like, what information do you need? to.
Yeah, so I
Help
definitely
somebody
have
out
become
correctly.
a lazy host, but if you really like want to, like, you do want to get all the information because it's more work if you don't.
Oh yeah,
right
for
then
sure.
and there. You just want to be like, hey, reservation or no reservation.
Mhm. My favorite is when you ask that question. You go reservation or no reservation, and people go, "Oh my God, do I need a reservation?"
It's like, oh,
And
so
I'm
you
like,
don't have a reservation.
Yeah, and you're like, no,
it's just a
calm
simple
down. We just
question.
need to,
I
we
just
need
need
to
to
know.
It's a lot of wording too because we do drag shows, and I've been like, some people like to say, "Are you here for the drag show?" And then people are like, "Oh,
Yeah, that's hard. Because,
yeah, I want to get in. I love drag
And
shows."
it's like, no,
And
that wasn't my question.
So like, you really have to be wording things correctly, like
Yeah.
being like, "Oh, do you have tickets for the drag show?" Like,
Sure, yeah.
so it's
that's a
obvious
difference.
that
But
you have to have
a
tickets. And then you introduce a wait list for them if not. But basically, if they don't have a reservation, if they have a reservation, you go, okay, party of 8, is it still going to be 8 today?
Mm-hmm.
And then, yes, take them to your seat. If not, then make adjustments. But with a walk-in, you'd say, okay, how many in your party? You want to know how many people are in their party, depending on if you seat the bar or not, if they're all over 21.
Mm-hmm.
If not, is there any kids in the party? Because you want to grab kids menus.
Mm-hmm.
Or like preferred seating. Usually, sometimes I don't ask preferred seating if it's busy because I want to seat a specific section.
Right.
But
That always
yeah, I
cracks
think
me up
that's
too.
kind of all you need to
Well,
know.
It always cracks me up when people are like, well, I want to sit in this specific section because it's like your experience is probably going to be just about the same everywhere.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter where you sit, but people have this like fixation, like a hyper fixation on where they're sitting to
Yeah.
be like vibey or
Oh,
something
for
like
sure.
that. Which just
Yeah.
cracks me up because I'm just like, the food tastes the same, the drinks taste the same, your service is going to be
The vibes
same.
are all about you, bro.
Yeah, you bring the vibe. Yeah, no. So party size, whether or not they have a reservation, and what was it?
Like age group.
Oh my God,
Either 21 or not.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that anymore. Like, I work in a bar where nobody is allowed under
Well-
21, so I don't have to worry about that. But
Well, also, like, people won't include their kids. So
they
like,
never
like,
do.
that is like the weirdest question is like, does my kid count? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
Yes, that's a human.
And this isn't the airplane where your kid just gets to sit on your lap. Like
Yeah.
an infant.
I've
Yeah.
had people say like, "Oh yeah, I have 3.5." I'm like, "The fuck does half mean?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's a whole person.
I've definitely had groups at old jobs be like, yeah, we're 4, and then they have 2 extra kids. I'm like, where did you expect us to put your children? Like, we don't have a daycare in the back.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
we need to know how
that's
many
6.
bodies
Yes.
needs seats. Like,
Yeah.
The
But
little
they
ones just
let
squeeze
her
them
go
in. It's
into
like,
the
no. They're small. We'll squeeze them in. The chairs are the same size. We like,
yeah, people are wild for that. But yeah, so I want to talk about turn times too. Like, how do you communicate turn times? If they have a reservation, it's usually stated, right?
Yeah, so with like all the systems like Open Table and 7 Rooms, it does like they do organize the reservations so they have like an hour and a half turn time for 2 tops, 2-hour turn time for 4 tops, and then anything bigger than 6 or above, it's usually 2.5 hours.
Mhm.
But I always think nobody's gonna sit there more than 2 hours unless they're like. I know people do that, but like, most
Generally,
likely people are only going to be there for 2 hours. That's more than enough time to have your whole meal
Yeah.
and get some conversation in.
Yeah.
But like, there are campers, so you do have to like, you do kind of have to be like, just in case there's a camper, let's figure something else out. And like, you also get the people who spend an hour or less at a table, so like that makes up for the campers, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not saying be a camper,
Yeah.
but if you are, spend a lot of money.
Yeah, not fair if you don't.
Well, also a good takeaway too is like to realize that there are turn times. Like, I just don't think that people who've never worked in restaurants before realize that that we're business, so we need to fill the same seat multiple times in a night usually.
It's a working system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's like, yeah, we would love to host you all night if that would make us money, but it doesn't. So
And this isn't your living room.
yeah, so a two-top on average is going to take an hour and a half. So we're going to make a reservation after an hour and a half of your start of the reservation if you're a two-top. And sorry, but that table is now the next reservations, like once their reservation starts. And so it either needs to be like explicitly said in the reservation system, or like if you're a good host too, you can be like, hey, I can get you seated at this table, but I need it back in 45 minutes. Like you.
Yeah, you have enough time for appetizers and drinks. Like,
Yeah.
I also do ask people, like, especially the bar I work at now, like, are you doing food as well as drinks? Like,
Yeah. And then once
Sure,
they agree to that 45-minute term or that
you get
hour
to kick them out.
Yeah, binding contract.
Yeah,
bitch.
yeah.
You said it.
Yeah, you signed the dotted line.
Well, it's always funny because I feel like people are always so like shocked when you're like, I need this table back. They're like, what?
Yeah.
And you're like, I literally told you that you have 45
Yeah.
minutes, and you said yes.
They
and
were like, you didn't
acknowledged me.
figure something else out.
Yeah, it's
And
like,
I'm
no,
Yeah.
I told you that I needed it back. And they're like, well, what if, no, what if
Yeah.
you have to leave?
Yeah.
Or go sit somewhere else.
We're sitting at the bar counter at this point
Yeah.
because you're clearly just drinking and you had enough FaceTime with your friends. You can bartender or something. I did have like recently, like, I usually have no issue with, like, sometimes guests are a little surprised, but usually I don't have people put up a fight. But
Yeah.
recently I told one of my servers, I was like, I didn't seat them. It was kind of like the weird transition period
Mm-hmm.
where there was a host that morning who originally sat them,
Mm.
and then, but it was exactly 2 hours when I needed the table back, basically, and this reservation never showed up for the reservations, so they sat at 4. The reservation I'm talking about was 5 o'clock, and finally, this table walks up to me and is like, "Hey, that was our reservation."
Okay, wait. So they had a reservation at 4
At 5.
or at 5, but they showed up at 4 and
And
never
showed up
told
at
you that.
4.
that-
Yeah. And so
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay, well, probably miscommunication. I think they did say that they told the other host,
Mm.
Oh.
but like it was never like canceled or actually properly sat like in the reservation books.
Mm.
So whatever. But I was like, oh, I'll just cancel your reservation, no big problem.
Mhm.
And then I realized like 30 minutes later I do need the table back soon, but they've been cashed out for over an hour.
Oh my
way.
fucking god.
Well, maybe not over an hour, that's a little drama. But when we asked them for the table back, they had been cashed out for an hour.
Mm.
What are you doing there still? Get out.
And their newer
Is
servers.
this in your living room?
So it was like transition period too, where the last server cashed them out. The new server asked them multiple times if they need anything else,
Mm.
and they said no. So then they were like, okay, well, it's like we do need a table back.
Yeah.
So do you mind giving it to us? And they were like, they said, well, we had a reservation.
Oh.
And
Yeah, for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like,
and like you gave up that 5 to 7 o'clock slot when you came at 4.
mm-hmm.
I gave away your table already for the other reservation because you sat at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you get the whole extra hour
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like that's not how that works.
Yeah, no, it restarts.
Yeah.
So basically, they put up a fight and they were like, well, you can't do anything for us, you can't move us. And we're like, well, we just didn't know you wanted more service. Like, you literally have been cashed out for an hour.
Yeah.
So, like, let's figure something out. And then,
like, also, yeah, you have stopped spending money an hour ago.
yeah,
We
like,
can't be
like,
here
go
anymore.
ahead
We
and-
need
Well,
this seat.
yeah. And this guy was very confrontational. It was his daughter's 21st birthday. So he was,
Go to a bar.
yeah, he was pissed off that he was like, it's also my, like, it's the day of my daughter's 21st birthday.
How dare you come to me on
But so we were like, okay, well, do you want anything else? And he was like, yeah, we were just taking a break and we want to reopen our tab.
Oh,
so
they're just
I
doing
think
that to
at
be
his
difficult.
fight, they were like,
Mhm.
let's get another round. And then the two people mainly talking to them were white people.
Mhm.
And this is like a brown family.
Mhm.
And so they immediately just said, well, you guys are just being racist now.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, so it was just like, this all came from me, though.
Mhm.
Like, being a person of color,
Yeah.
this came from me, not them.
Yeah.
I was directing them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's like too late to say that now. That was like the last kicker for me.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Yeah. No, but I genuinely feel as guests, like, people should just, like, know in general that it's a good idea to make a reservation regardless of how busy it is. And then also just, like, respect the reservation and or turn time that you're given. If you're going to be late, that doesn't... I love when people show up 30 minutes late for their reservation and think that they still get the full 2 hours, let's say.
No.
And I'm like, you cut into your own reservation.
If they give you a heads, if they call and say they're late, what I say is like, okay, that's totally fine. I can
Mhm.
save your table, but I do need it back at this
Yeah.
time still.
Yeah,
Like,
I still have a reservation behind you.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think...
Shockingly, you're not the only people in the world.
Yeah. But yeah, so just like respecting the reservation time, call if you're gonna be late.
Yeah.
And like even that might get you a little more grace. Like maybe the host will be like, oh yeah, that's fine. If I juggle things around, I can get you 15 minutes
you
back.
have more information. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
before it's too late, I don't know.
Also, my philosophy too is because I low key am a camper. I fucking love camping. I love watching restaurants work. I love like people watching. I love taking my book in to read. I love chatting way too long
That's
with my
what
friends.
the bar's for.
Yeah. But my philosophy too is like just let the host or server know that you're mindful, like you're a decent human being. And I always tell them, hey, I'm gonna sit here, or if I have been here too long, don't hesitate to tell me I need to go.
Sure.
Like
yeah.
I just like acknowledge that I'm being mindful of everyone's space and time.
Yeah.
And then one, I think people will offer me more grace for that, but also like truly like come up and tell me you need this bar seat back. Like I've been here
Yeah.
for too long, and I can go read my book somewhere else or whatever. So just like being mindful and considerate will go a long way. Enter story about New Year's Eve. I was hosting on New Year's Eve, which I don't host very often anymore. But New Year's Eve, we were fully booked, except for the bar top. Like, we only kept the bar top for reservations. Mind you, I am a decent host, so so I was able to squeeze in, like, maybe, like, 4 or 5 extra 2-tops on the floor at tables just because I was, like, minding the way I spoke to people. So I was cramming people in. I was getting as many people in as we can, while offering good service. But I swear to God, the number of people that I had to say no to. Mind you, I work in a bar in Belltown, which on New Year's Eve you want to be in Belltown because the space needle's down there or whatever. So I had to say no to a lot of people and or give quote times for like the bar top, and it was the most "are you sure's" I've ever gotten in my whole life. Like me just like quoting people like, oh, it's gonna be 20 minutes. Like, oh, are you sure I can't sit right there?
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, are you sure I can't? And I literally had a couple come in towards the end of the night, and we were about to seat our last rounds of reservations. So I did have a couple of empty-looking tables, but we had reservations filling those tables in like 15 minutes. So there was like no way we could properly get them sat, taken care of, let them enjoy their drinks, and close them out in 15 minutes. Like, we can't feasibly do that in the space that we're in. Anyhow, this couple questioned me probably like 3 or 4 times in a row. Like, are you sure I can't sit there?
Yes.
No, I have a reservation coming in 15 minutes. Oh, we could be in and out in 15 minutes.
No,
I was
you
like,
can't.
no, we can't serve you in 15 minutes. I'm really sorry. But, like, if you want to wait 20 minutes for the bar top, I will have something opening up. Are you sure I can't sit over there at that table? No.
Oh my
Can I just
God.
order at the bar? No, we don't do standing room. And I finally broke character. Like, I literally was just like, hey, I need you to trust me that if you want good service, like, I need you to wait 20 minutes for the bar top. And I have never said that to a guest, but I was just like, just trust me. Like, I'm not a bimbo, like, just, like, quoting random lies to
Also,
people.
this is literally what my job this is my career right now. Like,
I am the
what are
expert
you doing?
here.
Yeah.
What are you
Like, all right, fucking Andy, you want to come up here and run this entire seating of this restaurant.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, like the reason I like this conversation is because I guarantee you, like, the general public just doesn't understand how many moving parts are going on.
No, they see open table, and then they say, that table, open, I
Yeah.
want to sit.
Yeah. And I feel you, dog, but...
I like to say, like, I know this maybe sounds silly, but with all the empty tables, but it is going to be an hour and a half wait because I'm about to, like, I swear it's about to be full in 15 minutes. Like
I'm seating all these tables.
yeah, I have reservations.
Well, people are just so, like, single-mindedly, like, just concerned about just themselves.
Yeah.
Which, like, is understandable because your whole life is, you know, about you.
Yeah.
But, you know, you need to, like, consider the fact that there is multiples of you standing here in this restaurant also trying to get sat. It's not just you.
Yeah, everyone wants us, okay? Like, like you're gonna have to wait. No, for real, though.
I had this 5 top. Well, I had this table walk in during lunch the other day, and they tell me there could be 5. And then the guy was like, oh no, it's going to be 6. Blah, blah, blah's coming. And then the girl looks at him and goes, you really think she's coming?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, this is the tea. And then he kind of just goes, maybe not. And then, so I set them down, and I make it at a table where maybe a 6th person can join.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, just in case she shows up. And then, like, they all order their food, and then 2 more guys join. And then, but instead of just, like, capping the end of the table, they just grabbed a table and moved it. And I walked over there with waters. I was like, it's a little too slow to be, like, telling them what to do right now. Like,
Sure, but you can't just do that.
yeah. I said, right now it's okay, but, like, in the future, you can't just take people's tables. Like, there could be reservations.
Yeah.
Also, like, don't ask after you do
The thing.
Like,
Yeah.
We moved this. I hope that's okay. Well, it wasn't.
well, move it
But-
back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I think
they
it's
ended
just
up
courteous,
being
God.
9 people.
Ah.
Wait, they started out as 5?
Yeah.
Bro.
See, this is that is one of my biggest restaurant pet peeves, is I always get wary whenever anyone is like, okay, we have 5, and then they keep, like, you know, they're, like, chatting amongst each other, what about, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be, like, 19 people.
Yeah.
I can feel it in my
Yeah,
bones, and I'm going to be pissed in a minute
Uh-huh.
here, and they're going to start moving things around because they think it's their living room.
Yeah.
And see, this is why I can't host.
Yeah.
See,
Like,
I'm already getting all, like,
stressed.
I
like,
feel
sweating.
bad because I literally, like, probably 2 weeks ago was like, they were having those conversations amongst themselves, and they finally landed on a number, and I just said, are you sure? Like, I'm not, like,
yeah.
I
I've done that
can't,
before, you know?
Like, be
I need
fucking
to
for real
know
right now.
right off the bat, like, I need you guys to have this information ready, like,
Yeah.
figure it out, and if you don't know, like, say, you know, we might be more, like help me help you, like, accommodate
Sure.
you.
And also,
Yeah.
don't be mad when I say no. Like, communicate, but then, yeah, all of a sudden you have 4 more people. Like, just be aware you might get a no.
Yeah.
Like,
It's also, like, it's weird when they try and keep it a secret from you, too.
yeah.
They're like, we're 5.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, 10 other people show up, and it's like, well, if you had told me I did have a table that could fit all of you,
Yeah.
but you didn't tell me that,
Yeah.
and now we have to do the whole thing, now we have to move everybody, and it's just like, we're not going to be mad if you tell us the actual number.
Mhm.
We just need to know the number,
Yeah, to get
and then,
you what you need.
just we need the information. Like,
Yeah.
as you're saying,
Yeah.
it's, just,
It's not that
This
silly
is, like-
goofy, it's really just,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's logistics. Like, I just need to know.
This is funny because this is making me think, like, oh, they would be bad in a relationship, probably. Like, the you can't
Ooh,
communicate.
psychology Sam is here.
No. Yeah, this is me inappropriately psychoanalyzing my guests. But yeah, you can't communicate directly and set healthy boundaries. So we're not dating you. Not that I'm great
Thank
at
God.
that. Yeah.
So one time, this was probably the most recent, but basically this group, it was kind of a slow night, but there had been like a show at this park that wasn't too far away, and before I knew of that show going on, this 14 Top called and said they'd be here in like 30 minutes. So I was like, awesome. Like, usually I wouldn't do this, but I'll just save you a table. We're slower tonight. So I set it up, and they don't show up for like 2 hours. But in the meantime, the show releases, and we get like just big groups of people coming in, like 6 tops, 6 to like 10 tops. Basically, I get at least 6 within 20 minutes of those groups. And then I guess we did have like this part of our bar that was full with like a 60 top at the same time.
60 top.
Yeah, luckily they were like, basically on their last round as these people were all showing up. And the 14 top, I held their table for like 20 more minutes after they said they would be there. And then I was like, okay, I'm not turning away anybody for this table that hasn't showed up.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it away. This table finally shows up. But they didn't wait at the door, first off. They went outside and sat themselves
Oh my god.
at a 6 top. And there were 14 people.
On the patio?
Yes.
Oh, God.
And I had to be like, hey, I'm really sorry to do this, but like, you can't seat yourself. You need to wait at the front. But how many people do you have? Like, I tried to talk to them at this table. They go 14, and I go, okay, well, also, now I have to address you guys are way too big for this table. And sometimes if it's like up to 8 people, I'll be like, okay, you can squeeze if you feel comfortable with that. But like, no taking chairs, like you decided to squeeze. But 14 people is just like heinous. So I send them to back. I go, so this is your option. You can wait for a table. In the meantime, you're welcome to wait in our lounge area, order drinks at the bar. Or just stay there if you're just drinking. And so they go over there, and some time has passed, probably like 20 minutes. They seem happy. They're like the only group in there at this point. The 60 top has already left. And then this guy comes back to the front and starts talking to security, and he's like, isn't it terrible service? Like, there's nobody to serve us in the lounge. And
Oh my god.
and the security guard was like, well, it's like a dance floor, so like you can imagine like a server trying to work their way through the dance floor and take orders. Doesn't make any sense. Like, and he's like, yeah, but it's not like busy in there right now. And so it's like, yeah, I'd go up to the bar. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
You
they
have
were,
legs?
they were
move it.
told to go up to the bar to order.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Can't staff a whole extra person for
Yeah.
no fucking reason.
For a random 14 top that decided to walk in late
Yeah.
to their
they didn't even have a
call.
reservation.
Yeah,
They
it-
called, and I said, I can save you a table, but then showed up way too late. For the table I saved them because they told me they'd be there at this time, and it was already an hour past.
Yeah.
When they said they would be there. And then, so I kind of walk up to see if, like, he needed anything from, like, somebody who, like, worked in the restaurant rather than just security. So I kind of just stood there listening to their conversation, and he was just being really rude about the service. And then he looks at me, and he's like, do you agree the service could be better? And I was like, I just didn't respond because I was like, this is confrontation.
Ooh,
That's not my
bitchy.
business.
Yeah.
And then I kind of was just like, looked at him back, and then he just started. I don't even remember what he said because like it made me
Miss
so
Ma'am.
angry that I
Didn't
like
he,
kind
like,
of blacked
Miss
out.
Ma'am
You started
you?
seeing red.
Yeah, I started seeing red. He just like started addressing me, like telling me I did something wrong for him, and then I was like, I didn't even talk to you. I talked to your friends. Like,
Yeah.
this is not my problem, and that you specifically are mad right now. And then I didn't respond to that either, and I just looked at him back. Like, I'm not gonna get in
He
a
was
fight
trying to
over
fight
this.
this little girl. He was trying to fight this 25-year-old little
Yeah, I'm
girl.
just a baby. I'm still a teenage girl.
Yeah.
And so I just started walking away. I was like, he's already out the door. Like, what is the point? So I start walking away, and he goes, Miss Ma'am, get back
Yeah.
here. And I was like, nobody's Miss Ma'am and me.
No.
So I just I disappeared into the restaurant.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be found after that. I said, my job is done.
Yeah.
With these people at least.
He's like that all the time, though.
Yeah, also, he's a regular. He's coming back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was so fucking mean to me one time. Like,
Oh.
he subtweeted me hella hard. like in real life.
Oh,
But
God.
he was like talking about like how, I don't remember, we were talking about being Geminis or something, and he was like, yeah, the best thing about a Gemini is that, like, you know when someone else is being really fucking shitty to you. And he was, like, staring at me, and I was like, holy
Yeah,
shit, dude.
like that's what he does too. Is he's like locks eye contact with
Yeah.
you, and he's trying to be
Yeah.
like sassy with you, and it's just
Oh,
like
Yeah, and I was like, okay, my guy, like,
And
let's
he's-
all breathe together.
yeah, and he's come back in, like literally 2 days after that
Yeah.
incident, and like had nothing to say to me.
No, I bet he
And-
didn't remember.
Like I think so too, because I ended up seeing him, and I did tell like the manager, I was like, he was really rude to me the last time he came in. Like, if he wants to be here, I don't really care, but like if he starts drama, like we need to do something about it. And he instantly got cut off. He had one drink
Yeah.
and made it halfway through that drink and asked for a tequila shot.
And this was
And-
brunch, too.
Yeah, this was like
It was like
early
10 a.m.
brunch. He was like one of the first guests in there. So, yeah.
Bro, have you heard of those websites like Are We Dating the Same Guy?
Are we being served by the same, or are we serving the same asshole?
Yeah. Oh my god, I bet you he's on those.
Yeah, probably.
There's no. Are there serving ones?
Oh, I don't know. I'll find one. We'll make
We
one.
should start one.
Yeah.
And if there is one, we're about to read those stories on here. That is wild. Yeah.
Yeah, he sucks.
He sounds toxic as fuck. Okay, and then one thing that in our last conversation about this we didn't even touch on is side work. Because I feel like the support staff, hosts and busters and stuff like that, I mean, servers help out with side work too, but I'm like, that's just one more fucking thing that hosts have to keep up with. Like, while they're juggling everyone's lives, they're also, like, rolling silverware and polishing
Oh
silverware.
yeah, you're like keeping the restaurant from like flatlining. We're out of
Mary-
roll-ups.
Yeah.
What do we do now?
Mary
There's
is
no
the
more
side
coops.
work supreme.
Yeah. And, like,
So good at it.
and I think the one thing that the misconception that I think people have is that I don't think they realize that we have to wash silverware and glassware and stuff in the middle of the shift so as to reuse them during the same shift. I honestly feel like sometimes guests think that we have 3,000 forks.
Just unlimited
on-
forks.
Yeah.
Just hanging out.
3,000 ready to go roll-ups. That way, no matter how many people we serve that day, we never have to do side work during the shift.
They don't even know we have to do side work in the first place.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're like, what? You have to, these forks don't just appear out of nowhere?
Yeah. Well, and then also, there'll be trends in my bar where, like, for whatever reason, everyone orders drinks that go in a coupe.
Oh, yeah.
And so then it's like, oh, shit. Like, on this next round of espresso martinis, we're going to have to go do a lap, get all of the glassware,
Yeah.
put it in
Or it's
the
going in a
fucking
rock
thing.
sauce.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I just don't think people realize that. And, like, I just want to bring that up because it is one more fucking task that the host is doing.
Yeah, because you really can't buzz a table if the glass rack is full.
Yeah,
So then you have to do glassware, and then you have to go back to bussing that table,
Yeah, there's
and then
15
see
million
people,
steps.
and
Yeah.
it's the same exact thing over and over again.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I low-key get off to, like, the challenge of, like, managing all of the different things, so I do.
Well, it's fun. That's
Yeah.
why I like hosting. It's like, I love that praise. Oh my God, Mary was everywhere tonight, helping everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
and you
Oh,
truly
God, I need to stop telling her that. No,
Yeah. No, you deserve to know.
No, she totally does, though.
But yeah, so, that's not on hosting. Do you feel like you know how to host now, Kylie?
No, of course not.
Cool.
I would fold under the pressure.
Yeah. You wouldn't. You would be fine.
I just don't like having to think that much.
Yeah.
Like, the best part about bartending is, like, it's, like, so natural to me. That sounds so fucking
Well, it's like,
pompous, but
And
it's
I
like,
can't wait to get a break from thinking.
it's just like, it's just a second reflex to me.
Yeah.
So I don't have to think about it, and, like, you know, I don't know. It's just, moving parts are hard for me. Like,
I think, like, with bartending, it is, like, really, like, single-minded focus. Like,
Mhm.
yes, it's not mindless. Like, you have to know so many
Sure,
cocktail specs and know how to shake a drink,
but
stir a
it's
drink, do all these
reflexive
things.
after a while.
Yeah, it becomes reflexive, and it is just like, your job is to get these tickets done,
Yeah.
and you're stationary in a well. Whereas hosting is like your sight of vision, especially in the restaurant you guys work in. It has multiple dining rooms, so like you have to see the whole restaurant and expect what the flow is going to be.
Yeah, you're in control of the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can now guess how much we sold. Like, I'm pretty good at guessing how much we sold based off
Cool.
seating.
That's a
Like-
cool party trick.
Yeah, no, I also I literally guessed one of our servers'
Sales.
and
Oh, sick.
then guessed how much we did for the day.
Bitch.
Accurately?
Sunday, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, 1.7, and it was 7.4 for the day.
Damn.
Damn.
Ooh, I'm gonna start quizzing you after work.
Yeah,
Be like,
that's
okay,
fun.
Mary.
That's a fun
Usually
day.
I'm pretty, I'm in the, I'm maybe, 1,000 off, that sounds crazy, but it's like,
But I mean, 1,000 in a day where you're selling.
like 10.
Yeah. That's not that far off. Anyway, I feel like you've been crying a lot lately, and I was curious if you had any.
Oh, I was like, oh my god, what are we doing right now?
Big sister moment.
I literally cry all the time.
Yeah, but
A cancer baby.
but I'm curious if you have any new crying in the walk-in stories.
This was not in the walk-in, this was in front of everybody. I didn't even have time to make it to the walk-in. I did pick a wedgie in the walk-in, though.
Nice.
Wedgies in the walk-in.
Why did you do the walk-in? That's hilarious. Honestly.
But yeah, the other day, so I hate serving. It's not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hang out with people for longer
Yeah.
than you want.
This is why I like bartending.
You have to build rapport.
Yeah, bartenders are also instantly loved as soon as you make them.
Eh.
I feel like
wish.
there's some forgiveness with the bartender.
Well, I think there is this thing that bartenders are the most prestigious front of house position or whatever the
So
fuck.
funny.
Yeah, the hottest people in the room. too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was serving. I think I was on a double. And so after this story, I have refused to do doubles because they're too much for me.
Okay.
But
Yeah, no more.
But basically, this was really my last boss of the night. It was a 10 top.
Yes.
It was a 10 top. My
Finish
manager
it.
literally goes once they cash out, you can leave. It's like, hell yeah. So it was a 10 top, and they were slowly drinking. I do one cocktail per every 30 minutes.
Jesus fucking
So slow for
Christ.
10 people. It was crazy. But then one of the girls wanted to buy her friend desserts for her birthday. And she goes, what desserts do you have? What do you recommend? Do you have birthday cake? And I was like, closest thing to birthday cake we have is this really yummy chocolate pie. It even comes with sprinkles on top, but it's great. And I have candles in the back. And she was like, well, do you have pictures? And I was like, you can check out our Instagram. Let's go through the Instagram. I'm literally doing anything I can because I want to be done with this table so I can go home.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I have time for this. This is my last thing I have to do. So let's just do it. So we look at pictures. She goes, okay, let's do the chocolate pie. I was like, great. So we do it.
You're so nice.
I'm gasping.
I would be like,
it's
no.
chocolate pie, bitch. Just get it.
I explained it perfectly.
Yeah.
So basically, I didn't put birthday because it was the only thing I was doing. So I was like, I'm going to just instantly go back there, grab it, put a candle in.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back there. I'm stressed out because I can't find a candle anyway. And so I'm looking for a candle. Pie's already up. And then also this girl specifically wanted to run it herself. And I was like, that's not really how we do things here.
It's not any restaurant does this.
You can meet me at this
Yeah, you
part of
can't
the
come to the
restaurant.
kitchen pass.
She's
sorry.
like,
And-
yes, chef. Thank you, chef.
Yeah, you can meet me here, and then we'll walk up to the table together. You can hand it to her. And so she's being impatient with me because I can't. She's like, "Is it ready yet?" And I'm like,
Oh my god.
"Give me 1 sec."
We gotta
and
find
then-
the candles.
So then I'm stressing out. I have no solutions because we also were just told we would have candles on deck. So I was like, "Where are the candles?" And then there's no more candles in the office. So I went up to one of my coworkers and I was like, can you please just make sure that pie doesn't go out? Stay with the pie.
Stay with the pie.
Make sure nobody
pie.
runs it. And they misunderstood me and thought I had said that pie actually needs to be takeout.
No.
So they asked the kitchen to put it in a
That's
to-go
such a
box.
huge jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kitchen was livid. They're like, a to-go box. So they put the pie in a to-go box. And then he walks it up to the table in the to-go box. And then I immediately, I just lost it. I was like, this is the longest day of my life. This whole pie situation is
Like,
not
this was the end of
going-
a double, you're saying?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
not going right. So I went back up and I just started crying.
Oh no.
In the expo pass. And luckily one of my coworkers was actually just clocking off, and so I cried to her for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The pie came back. The pie came back to the pass too. So I'm like, I just don't know what to do anymore. And then 2 seconds later, she comes back with candles from the grocery store across the street.
Mm-hmm.
That's so sweet.
I know, it was, and then I cried more because I was just so
Thank you. Yeah.
nobody's ever done this for me.
Yeah.
Like, wow. But yeah, so now I carry candles in my purse just in case.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't,
Austin bought them for me for Christmas as a stocking stuffer.
Yeah,
He's like, now you just
that's
carry this
cute.
around so that doesn't happen to you again.
Yeah.
So funny.
No, that was really sweet too.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my god, that sounds stressful.
roller
as fuck.
coaster.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's one thing too, whereas if I'm in a healthy mind space, not on the end of a double, I think
Those are so hard.
yeah, I think if I'm fed, watered, and not 24 hours into work, I maybe would handle that situation slightly less people pleasing and
Yeah.
a little more a little bit more I'll check to see if we have candles. If we don't, fuck off. You know what I mean? Just even though in your head you're yeah, we were told we have candles. Da 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 da.
there was definitely solutions, but I was being a pushover because it was my last
Right, and you're
table
just
of the night.
let's do this nice thing. Yeah, no,
Well,
that's a hard fucking spot to be
Also,
in.
too, this girl being well, can I see pictures, blah, blah. Why didn't you bring your own fucking birthday cake and candles? If
Yeah,
you wanted it
yeah.
to look a certain way.
No, she also was like,
I just
She
can't even
definitely-
believe you. Yeah, that was nice of you to do that. I would be
There's a fucking saint.
yeah, I would not be let me sit on Instagram with you to find pictures of the cake.
yeah. This was
Try the pie.
the only way I was getting them out of there. Though I was like, make your decision. Let's make this decision. real
Sure,
quick.
yeah.
And then also everybody was bought they just weren't drinkers, and I think everybody already bought her enough rounds. So I think this girl was like, I don't know, I was just gonna buy her a drink,
Mm,
So she was like, oh, maybe I'll buy her a cake.
yeah,
God, that is so ridiculous.
yeah, so wild. I also do kind of wonder. This is a whole tangent. But I'm kind of curious when it became popularized that restaurants were supposed to provide candles. Was it
Yeah,
when?
why are we buying candles?
Yeah, was it
Yeah.
when Chili's started singing
Yeah,
happy
Red
birthday to
Robin's.
people, or
Happy birthday.
from all of us you? Yeah, when is it?
That's your responsibility.
Yeah, and it's interesting because most restaurants go out of their way to help you celebrate, send a round of bubbles or shots or whatever for birthdays and anniversaries and stuff like that. But it is interesting that it's a common expectation
Yeah.
I love
that
when
the restaurant provides candles.
I just love when people come in and they're like, "Hey, do you guys do free stuff for birthdays?" And I'm
Oh,
like, "What? No."
They asked that right off the
This is
bat.
fucking
too.
Red Robin. Who are
What do
you?
you guys do for birthdays? Yeah,
We help you celebrate your birthday.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
We
can buy
get
your
you the
friend
things
something.
that you order and pay
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, I literally too. It's I will give you something if you're being cool,
Yeah.
and if you don't ask for it, and if you're being aloof, perhaps a bit about
Yeah.
it.
Well, it just makes it weird when you're like, okay, now I'm just expected to send you shots.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do
no,
that.
it's weird.
Yeah. In general, we're gonna take care of you, but yeah,
Because also
That's so
somebody's
fucking
got a
weird.
birthday every fucking day in the restaurant.
that is the
so
thing.
what? I can't
Especially-
bleed the restaurant dry because
Yeah.
you didn't want to spend $10 on a shot for your friend.
Yeah, I also find it funny because I've worked at restaurant. both at your restaurant, it's a fun place to celebrate a birthday or especially bridal showers. What are those called? Bachelorette parties. Like, it's a cool place to celebrate. And then I've also worked at high-end restaurants where it's like everyone is out for their anniversary and also expecting that special care. And I'm like, everybody's special. Everybody's special, I guess.
I do remember though at Tav, like we would always know if it was someone's birthday, you always send them like a half glass of bubbles or something, and that
Or ice cream scoop.
It's just so funny that
it's all. Sometimes we should. I'm sure people do calculate that shit, but I'm really curious how much free shit we give away just for people's birthdays.
Oh god, it's so much probably.
Yeah,
my favorite is Valentine's Day when they say special occasion.
You're like, yeah,
everybody's here for the same reason.
It's actually not that special anymore.
yeah. All right.
Cool. Thanks, Mary.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Good luck with your bar training.
Thank you.
Let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah, next time I'll be on the podcast. We'll be talking about bar stuff.
Yeah, you'll be an expert in.
I'll have
I'm
my
gonna
own
quiz you.
cocktail. Modern classic.
Modern
Ooh!
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah, girl, you get it.
Watch out.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Crying in the Walk-In with Sam and Kai. Find us on Instagram at cryinginthewalkin_pod and on Spotify at Crying in the Walk-In. You can find us in real life too, but only if you know us, you little freaks.